We are back talking about the Los Angeles Chargers, should be San Diego Chargers fantasy team review for 2024. We'll try and stay unbiased. We are, well, I don't know if you're still considered a Chargers fan, Dad, but we root for them to do well. So,
I
but
tried to,
we have distanced ourselves a little bit.
I tried to, once they moved to LA and then Philip Rivers bailed out, I said I was done with them and, a lot of F bombs. And then they drafted Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And now they got Jim Harbaugh. So,
yeah, which does matter for the team. Coaching matters. I know we don't think about it for fantasy, but it does matter. Schemes and philosophies and all of that good stuff. So we'll start off with talking about Justin Herbert, 26 and a half years old, all the way down to round 10. This guy was going after his second year. I think he was a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
After his second year, yeah, he's just fallen and a little understandably so. Although, you look at the numbers last year before he got hurt, he was still a top 12 quarterback, even when he didn't have his guys in a terrible situation and kind of putting the team on his back. And that's part of the reason why he got hurt. But you see his number in 2021 where he was QB2. He was awesome, threw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. But now he's on the Chargers, and part of the reason why he's going this far is because of the coach and, the Harbaugh and Greg Roman, and people thinking a little bit overreacting, I think, that they're just going to run the ball 100 times a game and they're never going to pass the ball. So I think it's a little bit of a reaction because, one, Herbert's your best player on offense, and despite you wanting to run the ball, which they should do more and take it off of his shoulders a bit, he's still your best player and you need to win with his arm. So, but I was a little bit excited about Herbert coming in, like the value you can get him at, because I thought, is he going to pass for 5,000 yards? No. Are they going to throw the ball 700 times? No. But can he throw for 4,200 and 35 touchdowns? Absolutely. And the touchdowns is what I really care about, right? One touchdown, if you play in 6 point per passing touchdown, is equivalent to 150 passing yards. If you play in 4 point, that's 100 passing yards. So throw for 225 and 2 touchdowns every game, and I'm happy, right? Like, you're doing well. And I thought he was going to run the ball a little bit more. I thought they were going to – that's part of the Greg Roman offense, and I thought maybe he'd get, 4-5 carries a game and rush for 400, 450 yards. But then he got the foot injury, right? And that makes me a little bit hesitant about, is he going to run, especially in the beginning. So where are you at with Herbert, Dad? He's going as QB 15, which means you could potentially get him even later than round 10. Are you willing to wait that long and have him as your QB 1?
Yeah, I think I would. The foot injury is a little concerning. His running yards aren't. He had 1 year where he was over 300, but the rest of the times were not great. But he did obviously have some touchdowns and stuff like that. But so, man, what are we gonna see? And you're right about well, they're just gonna run the ball and stuff like that, and it's like yeah, they're gonna run the ball, but they're gonna throw the ball too, and
especially in the red zone, they could do anything.
What's that?
Especially in the red zone, like they can do anything in the red zone. Like, I don't think it's crazy to think like he throws for 225 to 250 a game, which is going to put him over 4,000 yards. So, they've in the NFL, he's never had a quarterback as good as Herbert. I know he had Andrew Luck in college, Harbaugh, that is. But, you just look at, I guess I kind of look at just trying to see how many, like Alex Smith, what he was doing. Yeah, about 200. When did Harbaugh come in? 2011, I believe. So
I think so. 2010, 11. Yeah. Yeah, Alex Smith would be a good, not Kaepernick, because Kaepernick we knew ran a lot more, but Alex Smith would be a guy to take a look at. And
But Herbert's definitely a better passer than Alex Smith.
Yeah.
But he in 2011, Alex Smith was throwing for 200 yards a game. So is it crazy to think that Herbert can throw for 25 to 50 yards more per game? I don't think so.
Not really.
But part of the appeal for me was potential rushing, and that's just me not even knowing if that's going to be true or not. So I'm still willing to take a shot. This is the range of quarterbacks I like to go for. The Goffs, the Cousins, Trevor Lawrence is in this range. Is it terrible to wait until round 10 and just go Goff and Herbert and say these two guys are going to get me by? One of them's going to stand out, or I play the matchups every week, and these two guys are going to get me by in fantasy. So I don't think it's too crazy to think that that's possible. Anything else on Herbert? Definitely, man. Watch the injury and see how that's progressing for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we talked about all the rushing that they're potentially going to do. I think Greg Roman offense has been like top 5 every year that he's been offensive coordinator in rushing attempts. Gus Edwards is the first running back off the board, not until round 10 for a team that we expect to run the ball a lot. Their first running back's not going until round 10, which something doesn't add up, I guess, there a little bit. I guess it's more of we don't really know who's going to be the guy. I think it's going to be Gus Edwards. He's 29 years old. He comes from the Ravens. He played under Greg Roman. Is he spectacular, amazing? No. But is he going to get the tough yards between the tackle? Is he going to have a lot of touchdown opportunities? Yes. And you're getting him as you're getting him as an RB4, essentially. You're getting him as a bench piece, which I think he's going to be a very usable piece all year long if he stays healthy. Nothing amazing, but can he give you 10 to 13 points a game? I think he can.
Yeah, I do too. And for all those reasons, that you stated, the offensive coordinator and the way the head coach wants to run the ball, and Gus the Bus, and he had double-digit touchdowns last year with Baltimore. So I think he could fit in a very similar role, with the Chargers. Mm-hmm. I think the next guy could be part of that too. So,
yeah, I just think it's very, very, very good value for Gus Edwards in round 10, and I'm totally in on that. I am, and the next guy I think you're talking about is J.K. Dobbins. Unfortunate situation with Dobbins is just all the injuries. Guy was one of the best running back prospects to come out in that draft class, and he just gets injury after injury, ACL, LCL, meniscus, hamstring, and then the Achilles, right? He tore his Achilles last year, which is kind of the death note for running backs to a certain extent. He's going around 12. It is August 5th, so there's still about a month to go till you start drafting. So this could change. Are you in on him in round 12? Because I just want to avoid Achilles injuries, I think.
I think at round 12, I'd rather take Gus at round 10.
Yeah,
that would be,
sure.
And I'm not going to, Dobbins, I guess I'd have to kind of take a wait and see approach, So,
listen, if he's playing in preseason and looks decent and he's basically looking to be a major contributor for this running back room on September 5th or whatever, whenever you're drafting, then that's a different story. We're talking about it now on August 5th. A little bit concerned, but yeah, I think unfortunately we're going to be getting more injuries from Dobbins this year just because you're less than a year removed from an Achilles tear, so that could really just mess up the rest of your legs and body, right?
I'm not sure they would, there's got to be, you got to think the coaching staff knows that, the general manager who was on the Ravens and stuff like that. And if he's producing, and they think he's going to be part of the, part of the equation here, I got to trust those guys because they got a rookie waiting. They got Isaiah Spiller also, who we haven't seen much from, but so there's other guys there.
I understand that, but part of me thinks like how much of because Dobbins tore up his knee in 2022, right? And he came back, and we were surprised that he kind of started the year, right?
Well, he had to have another surgery, and and he didn't. He was out like a year and a half.
Yeah,
he didn't show up until the next year, about halfway through. He had to have another cleanup surgery, as they say, and stuff like that. So,
okay, I am misremembering a little bit. So it was the ACL tear was August of 2021.
Yeah, in a preseason game. Yeah.
Okay, and then he came back, and then he came back. He was looking to be ready to start the year, and then he got hurt, but then he looked good to kind of end 2022 a little, or like he looked okay coming off the ACL.
Right.
And then week 1, he tears his Achilles.
Yeah, so he was out a whole year, and then when he was out 2021, then he wasn't ready for 2022, and he only played
4 games.
Yeah, he had another surgery in there, so
yeah, so he missed the first 2 games of 2022. Played the next 4, hurt himself again. I think that's when he had like that cleanup surgery, missed 6 weeks, and then came back and looked good the last for 4 weeks in 2022. He had 15 for 120, 13 for 125, 12 for 59, 17 for 93. And then week 1 of last year, he tears his Achilles. So, I'm just a little bit worried. Like, is he going to be ready? I don't even know if he's practicing and all that stuff. I don't know. Like, well, this is definitely a wait and see. Is he going to be ready for week 1 or not? Kamani Vidal was the other guy you were talking about. He is round 14, so he is also being drafted. He's the rookie. Now, a report did come out that he was playing behind Jarrett Patterson, who was a running back for Washington the last couple of years. Didn't even play last year, Jarrett Patterson. And there was a report, this was 2-3 weeks ago maybe, that he was behind him on the depth chart. So maybe this is just a week ago. I don't remember. I'm not 100% concerned yet. I want to see how preseason plays out. I kind of like Kamani Vidal. In our pre-rookie draft prospects, looking at him saying, oh yeah, this guy looks pretty good. He played for Troy for 4 years. His last 2 years, or his last year, he had 300 carries for over 1,600 yards. He also had 18 catches for 200 yards. So he had over 1,800 total yards and 15 touchdowns, 315 touches. So he can carry a load for sure. I think he can kind of do it all. Harbaugh was kind of interested in him at the combine, talking to him, and then they drafted him in round 6. So I kind of like Kamani Vidal. We'll see how if we get reports that he's 4th on the depth chart or on the practice squad come September, then that's a different story. But I'm fine. Like, if you're drafting right now, I'll take a shot on Vidal in round 14 and rookie running back, and maybe he is something. Because we're talking about almost 30-year-old Gus Edwards, who's never been super impressive, and then J.K. Dobbins is tearing his Achilles, coming off an Achilles tear. Like, we're not talking about him playing behind Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley or something, So, are you kind of in the same boat there with round 14? I'll take a shot if he's RB3 or 2.
Yeah, he's got to be, again, like you said, you explained, he's got to be in the right spot, the situation, and there's other running backs and stuff like that. So we just have to see how it all shakes out near the end of camp. And
yeah, for sure. Jarrett Patterson, we'll see. Isaiah Spiller, we'll see. Someone has to return kicks. So, but yeah, the wide receiver, I was just actually looking at it. Chargers don't have a player going in the first 8 rounds of fantasy drafts, which, my God, that's never been true for my lifetime as watching the Chargers. Like,
yeah,
from LT to Gates to Keenan Allen to Vincent Jackson to, Darren Sproles, all these guys like Rivers, Hunter Henry, even obviously Herbert, Keenan Allen the last couple of years, and Austin Eckler, Melvin Gordon, like no freaking players being drafted in the first 8 rounds. The first guy actually being drafted in half PPR is Ladd McConkey, the rookie receiver. 22.8 years old. He's going around 9, wide receiver 43. So he's essentially a wide receiver 4, but he's probably like your wide receiver at least 4, maybe 5 at this point. Obviously no stats there. My one concern.
Got a report he got hurt today, I think, or yesterday.
Yeah. So, what was it? It was 2 days ago, I think it was. Came up limping after making a catch. So he's battling through an injury. Harbaugh's been kind of quiet with these injuries, at least to start. And that is concerning because for rookies, you don't want them missing this time of year because then it just sets them all back. Like coaches want guys they can rely on to not make mistakes because mistakes is what's going to lose you football games, right? So it is a little bit concerning and something to keep an eye on. Hopefully he'll be back. I did hear they were using him all over the field though, outside in the slot, that was my biggest concern is that if he's only going to play in the slot and he's not going to be out there on 2 wide receiver sets, we're going to be limited here because we're already expecting a little bit lower of a passing volume team. But if they're using him outside, man, that's exciting. That's exciting. So keep an eye on that. Right now where we stand, if he's ready for week 1, I'm okay with McConkey here in round 9. Are you okay with that, Dad? Or do you want some players that are kind of going around him?
I'm going to pass on McConkey this, on that, in that position. And,
Okay, so Rome Odunze or McConkey? If you're taking a wide receiver here, you got Odunze or McConkey on the board.
Oh, Odunze.
Okay. But Worthy or McConkey?
Probably McConkey.
Okay. Christian Watson or McConkey?
Probably Watson.
Yeah, that's fair. JSN?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I wish they'd get rid of Tyler Lockett and let him. But I don't know. Probably JSN, just because more established, with the team and the quarterback. I mean, the situation with the Chargers, things are too new, and
I'm fine with McConkey here. And again, it's a lot of the rookies that are going here. It's a lot of unknown. It's Odunze, it's Worthy, it's Christian Watson, it's JSN, it's Keon Coleman, and then it's guys like Cortland Sutton and Jameson Williams. So it's a lot of unknowns here. And I'll take a chance on McConkey and just think he could be Herbert's guy. Because we're talking about Josh Palmer is the next guy who I'm also in on, round 13. But he's not this amazing, he's going to be the main guy. He's a solid, should be probably your 3rd wide receiver, but could be their 1st this year. He's going around 13. Do you like that value even more? Like you're getting him 4 rounds?
I do. I think I'm in on Josh Palmer. Somebody's got to be the guy.
He's going to run the most routes for this team, in my opinion.
What's that?
He's going to be out there the most and run the most routes for the Chargers.
I think so. And, he's been there the longest. And, he's still got a job with the Chargers. So there's a little familiarity with the quarterback and wide receiver relationship. So I kind of see, I can kind of see an 80 catch year, maybe 90.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you look at last year, just looking at when he was starting, 8 targets, 3 for 77, 4 for 60, 5 for 133. It's not terrible. It's not amazing, but we're talking about a deep bench player at this point, a guy that could lead the team in targets and everything. So I will, if I had to choose Palmer versus McConkey, I would choose Palmer at the four round later discount for sure, because I like that. But I like both. I like both. I don't mind taking one of them if you feel strongly about one of them. Quentin Johnston is the next one, but he's not. He's just barely draftable. If you played, I think the average leagues are 16 rounds. He's round 17, so he's just outside of there. I mean, the report came out a couple weeks ago that in how the wide receiver room was shaping out it was Palmer, McConkey, and DJ Shark. Those are the 3 wide receiver sets. Those were the 3 wide receivers. And it makes sense because DJ Shark is a professional receiver that can stretch the field. He runs a 4.38. He can play outside on the X position. He does things for your team that maybe Quentin Johnston can't do. Passing on Quentin Johnston, I assume.
Yes, a hard pass.
Even if he's your last pick and you're just like, all right, let me just hold him for a week and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll find somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, like
yeah. Like you said, hold on to him for a week and watch him.
Most guys you're drafting in this range or you're dropping after week 1, so yeah, I don't have much hope for him. I don't. So, which is unfortunate. And then, the tight ends are not being drafted. There's Hayden Hurst. Actually on their depth chart, it's not Hayden Hurst as the number 1 guy. It's Will Dissly. Yeah. Donald Parham's still there. I don't know. Greg Roman's offenses usually have a tight end, whether it's Vernon Davis in San Francisco, Mark Andrews in Baltimore, or even Charles Clay in Buffalo. So there could be sneaky value at the tight end position. We just don't know. Is it going to be 2 guys or is it going to be 1 guy or 3 guys? I don't know. These are just waiver wire pickups, right? And
I think Dissly was going to – I think there'll be a little surprise. You look at what he did in Seattle, and he wasn't terrible. But if you lose a tight end, a waiver wire pickup is what you're probably gonna see. So,
yeah, yep, I agree. So that's the Chargers. Amazing how times have changed. Hopefully they get back to some players being drafted in the top 8 rounds. But hopefully they're a good team. And I believe, yes, of course, we're back with the Los Angeles Rams in the next video. Different story for their fantasy players. So we will see you all in that video.